businesses and giving them proper support, actually digitization comes to question. Right now, the world has moved in the digital space. And a lot of our businesses in the country, actually, over 90% of the businesses in this country fall under the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. How many of those are utilizing technology? What are the barriers that are impeding them to take up technology? Right now, I'm joined by Abraham Budia, who is the founder and CEO of User Point. And Abraham, yes. For starters, just looking at that particular story, he's selling snacks.
Yes.
By Jamia Mosque. I mean, in all senses, I don't know whether he's thinking about anything to do with digitization and automation in that space, because people are just passing, you buy a snack and you walk around. Looking at that story specifically, for starters, are there opportunities to infuse tech?
Yes. There are so many opportunities. So if you look at the numbers, Noah, one of the things you'll realize is almost, I think 90% or 95% of the businesses actually in this particular Kenyan market are actually SMEs. And even but they only contribute to 30% of the GDP in the Kenyan economy. So when you look at some of these small businesses, and most of them are very informal, they don't have the need to actually take up technology. But one of the biggest challenges or the biggest impediment is actually the fact that they usually consider getting technology and assume that it's very expensive to get technology. Again, they also undermine the scale of operations and always think that because of their nature of business, being informal and all that, they think then they should not automate their business operations. But when you think about even the journeys that many other companies which have grown to actually become big have gone through, they've actually understood the need of actually taking up the technology, and that has actually helped them to actually grow and scale. So like that particular person, because of the mindset of basically doing their things in a very manual way or in a very traditional manner, brick and mortar, then because of that, it's very hard for them to scale. So they will only just reach Noah when he goes to visit them, or they will only just reach the people around Jamia Mall. But they lack the opportunities that exist for them to reach a wider market, or for them to actually be able to scale, or for them to actually be able to access credit. So I think there's a very, very huge opportunity for some of those SMEs. But because of the narrative that taking up technology is expensive, and of course it involves a lot of things, then they tend not to get themselves into technology.
Okay. And I'm glad you've brought out the disparity in terms of the percentage of businesses vis-a-vis their contribution to productivity, which essentially is GDP. We can boost that. We can do better in that regard. So, I mean, since majority of businesses, I mean, there is retail, the people selling snacks right there. What are the practical ways? What are some of the tools like Omar, who sells these snacks? He can infuse in such a business that seems, it's been classified as informal, whereas it's the major employer of this country. What are some of the tools that he can utilize in that space?
Okay, so thank you very much for that question. One of the things that they can actually use is the digital tools to actually advertise and market their business. Okay, so there are some things, especially the social media platforms, that people underestimate, but yet they have a very big capability. Okay, so just using Meta, just using Google, and some of those particular platforms which are available for the public, it can actually help him to move his business from where he is to actually reach a wider market. And we've seen a lot of businesses growing, just starting from an online presence and actually growing and becoming a very big thing. The other way they can actually transform and digitize their business is actually using the proper tools to actually account and manage for their day-to-day business operations. Like for us at User Point, that's exactly what we do. We actually provide a bookkeeping solution that allows these businesses to, number one, manage the inventory, number two, track their sales, number three, monitor how they're doing their expenses each and every day, and number four is actually to monitor how they're doing their purchases to suppliers. So one of the key things that most of these people, or one of the reasons why these people don't grow, is because they don't know how to manage their scarce resources optimally. So today someone will go and buy the smoky or the sausage they'll put in that particular hot dog, at 20 shillings, and tomorrow they'll still continue selling it at 23 shillings. So their margin is just at 3 shillings. But if you're using a tool that can allow you to actually monitor all these things that are changing, all these variables that are changing in your business, then you can actually use that to make better decisions for your business. So one of the key things probably will be, even by digitizing, for example, through our solution, UserPoint, or any other bookkeeping solution out there, is basically being able to account for each and everything that is happening in your business. One of the other biggest challenges that you'll find also in the SME market is access to credit. So most of these people will say, because I'm informal, I can't go to the banks and actually get any credit. But when you go to the banks, what are they asking for? They're asking for your financial records. They're asking for financial reports, management accounts. So if you're not automating most of these processes, then you don't have a tool to fall back to and generate some of these reports and give your financial institution to offer you credit. So I think those are two key things: to actually use technology to market your business, and actually use technology to digitize and automate your day-to-day business operations.
Definitely. And when we slap words, big words like utilization, and solutions, all of a sudden, in majority of us, we just shut down. It's like, that one is a pitch that's gonna cost me a lot of money. And even starting with utilization of social media.
Yes.
These are tools that each and every single person now, I mean, if you have a smartphone, you do have.
Yes.
So how do you leverage the tools that a normal Kenyan who runs a small or a micro business out there, they can sort of turn it around to become a money-making tool and boost their business?
Okay, that's a very nice question. So one of the things, let's look at it first from the first aspect about digitizing your business to actually market and advertise your business. I mean, we all know the social media handles are actually free. One of the things most people or SMEs don't actually know is that even when you decide to run ads to actually reach a wider audience, you actually don't pay prior. You actually pay after the ad has actually run. So most SMEs don't know that. So you have actually made your money, and that's when some of these social media platforms are actually coming back to you and saying, now you have a bill of this particular amount. So that the cost of actually technology has been made very, very affordable, because most of these key players actually understand that most of the people who are actually transacting here are actually SMEs. So you actually don't need any capital. All you need is a very creative mind, very nice images of your products, from the story that you've just shared with us, the samosa. Take a very nice, good photo of the samosa, tell a story through that product. And that's one of the ways you can actually leverage on technology without spending even a single coin. Now, when you get in terms of digitizing it from a bookkeeping solution point of view, so a product like ours is actually exists both as a mobile and a web application, which actually allows you as a business owner, as long as you have a smartphone and maybe access to internet, you can actually go on the Play Store, download the mobile application, and simply start creating your own store. Okay, so once you create your own store, you put your inventory, you put your prices and your cost, and you can start using it to sell. It has a 7-day free trial, but after the 7 days, then you have to pay a subscription fee, either monthly or annual. So access to technology is not necessarily very cumbersome or difficult, because most people have seen, they've gone to supermarkets, they see there's a big computer, they see there's a thermal printer, and they feel or they think it has to be expensive to actually acquire this.
Yes.
What we've done is we've understood our market is SMEs. They control a big part of our economy, and we've condensed all that, whatever a supermarket or a big mini-mart is actually leveraging on, and condensed it in form of a mobile application. Very easy, even for a person who's not been educated or tech savvy to actually use. And again, the cost is actually very insignificant. The other way to think about it is also because most of these businesses don't think about the return on investment. So when you set up a business, let's assume you have a physical shop, probably not the example that you're using for the samosa, but you have a physical shop. When you think about the investment that goes into it, it's probably 2 million or thereabout, or maybe in the ranges of 500,000 all the way to 2 million Kenya shillings. But at the end of the day, you go and put a padlock at your door. So getting a good bookkeeping solution is actually putting a big padlock for your investment. You're trying to actually protect that big investment.
Okay.
So when you think about it, you need to think of what can actually protect my investment, and heavily invest in that. So when you think of the ROI, you cannot compare, because you can easily lose that 2 million investment after a very short period of time.
I'm glad you've mentioned padlocks, which is a very good analogy when I come to think of it. You've got a bigger padlock.
Yes.
I wanted to take a short break.
Okay.
So for part 1 of business today, we're going to put a very big padlock.
Okay.
And we'll come with part 2, where we see the value, the practical value of Mr. Omar. If that ROI you're talking about, return on investment, if you decide to go big on digitization, automation, if you're in that space, what benefits are accrued to you as a small business?
Okay.
All right. Now, take that short break right here on Business Today. Remember, it's Wednesday, and the day is MSME Day. We'll return with more.